When I started compiling my 10 best films of the year, I started to realize one very important detail, that most of the films that I love from last year aren't even nominated. I want to delve into the films that I think have been the most overlooked from last year. Ari Aster's Eddington is a film that may have slipped under the cracks this award season, but I do believe is one of the most defining films of our post-COVID era world, if not the most defining. I can't think of a more current film that addresses our political divisiveness and the slow, withering decline of societal cohesion as intelligently or as succinctly as Eddington does. Aster isn't interested in picking a side and elevating it as morally superior. He is significantly more interested in dissecting all sides of the political and social spectrum, which is ultimately what makes Eddington so insightful. If one battle after another is about preparing our children for the world that will be left for them, Eddington is about how the world that remains is morally rotting at its core. Steven Soderbergh is one of the most inventive directors working today. For every black bag, a very enjoyable, grown-up, stylish spy thriller, he creates a film as formally creative and fascinating as Presence. Presence follows the Payne family as they relocate into a new home and are haunted by a mysterious presence. But this isn't your typical haunted house thriller. Soderbergh, who shot the entire picture himself, finds inventive methods to keep the visual language of the film constantly in sync with the story, so you're never ahead of the plot. What makes Presence so fascinating is what happens in the third act, as well as a final shot that truly sent goosebumps down my spine and reframed the entire picture for me. It's really uncommon for a film to surprise me as deeply as Presence did, so when it does, I can't help but take notice. It's been well over a year, and I can't quit praising this film. I really loved it. Kelly Reichardt's The Mastermind was one of the biggest surprises for me last year. This is an anti-heist film, and it was not at all what I was expecting. Set in 1970s Massachusetts, the film follows James Mooney, portrayed to perfection by Josh O'Connor, an unemployed carpenter who borrows money from his mother, claiming to be using it for work when, in fact, he's using it to pay 3 men for a robbery. What follows does not follow the typical formula of a heist movie or getaway film by any means, but instead, Reichardt is far more interested in exploring the allure of individualism and the necessity of collective action, to quote Reichardt herself. There's also this sense of depressing existential dread that is so pervasive throughout the entire story, as James navigates his life post-heist, becoming more and more detached from those he cares about, while arriving at a conclusion that is both at once heartbreaking and wonderfully poetic. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a recent film that deals with extreme isolation quite like this one. In many ways, this reminded me of Steve Zalian's recent Ripley adaptation, which I loved. By the end of The Mastermind, if you ever thought that performing a heist might be alluring, like an Ocean's 11 movie, this film will make you rethink those ideas very quickly. Lynn Ramsey's first film in 8 years, Die My Love, is utterly absorbing, terrifying, and packed with nearly as much rage and longing as the film's protagonist. It's also a painful look at the loss of identity that is so common with depression, and especially in the case of Jennifer Lawrence's Grace, postpartum depression. Jennifer Lawrence herself deserves all the praise worth mentioning for her harrowing, brutally honest, and sincere performance. Mental health isn't always depicted gracefully in cinema. There are just as many filmic examples as there are films that oversimplify mental health. Ramsey, her co-writers Edna Walsh and Alice Birch, working from Ariana Harvick's novel, fundamentally understand that depression is a river that can be peacefully calm and then utterly destructive within a moment's notice. The delicate lines between reality and illusion become easily blurred, and that uneasy resting place is where Die My Love resides. Every now and again, you stumble upon a film that you've never seen before that completely surprises you. That was the case with Alex Russell's Lurker, an extremely unnerving psychological thriller that defied every stereotype I expected. Russell's film expertly navigates the complexities of parasocial connections, which have grown all too common in our digital age, as well as our destructive quest for fame. What I loved about this film is how Russell creates this suffocating, claustrophobic atmosphere where even the most mundane moments feel dangerous. Lurker is the kind of thriller that gets under your skin and will stay there for a really long time. As for honorable mentions, I absolutely love Misericordia. Written and directed by Alan Girodi. As someone that loved Girodi's last film, Stranger by the Lake, I was very intrigued to see his latest, and he didn't disappoint. I'm not going to spoil anything about this film, because revealing even the tiniest bit of story would reveal too much. But this dark comedy thriller genuinely surprised me in the best way, and I can't recommend it enough. While this doesn't quite count as a new 2025 release, Kiyoshi Kurosawa's psychological thriller Cloud was one of my favorite movie-going experiences from last year. This premiered at the 81st Venice International Film Festival in 2024, and it was enormously captivating. I was lucky enough to see it in theaters last year. Kurosawa digs deep into our collective greed and the dark underbelly of internet capitalism while exposing our unhealthy obsession with anonymity. Lastly, I just can't end this video without mentioning David Cronenberg's The Shrouds. While this was technically a 2024 release, I was very fortunate enough to see this theatrically last year. Cronenberg's latest is a wonderfully timely thriller exploring the intersection between grief and technology. The Shrouds remained my favorite film for almost all of 2025 until Sentimental Value came along. It's weird, it's unpredictable, it's fiercely idiosyncratic. It's everything I would want in a modern-day Cronenberg film. If there's one thing that all of these films I've listed have in common, it's that they're all very surprising while remaining enormously satisfying. See, that's ultimately what I look for in a great film, and all the films described above have that quality in spades. On a personal note, last year was really very challenging for me. I won't go into detail, but movies, in addition to the love of friends and family, helped get me through some really hard times. I've always viewed film as one of the purest expressions of love. And as corny as this might sound, I hope this channel can be an expression of my love for whoever is watching. I really hope I can be doing this for a very long time. So thanks for watching.